That's the great thing about this city. It's there for the taking, if you've got what it takes.
In one of my recent videos here on the channel, we revisited Saints Row 2 and its PC port to show how you can mod the game and remaster it in some way. But one of the things I failed to omit in that video was how far the modding scene has come within the Saints Row community when it comes to emulating both the Saints Row 1 and 2 Xbox ports. There's actually been a flurry of mods that you can inject into those games using the Xenia emulator that can expand the capabilities of what's possible within the Saints Row engine. And while I was checking out what was available on SaintsRowMods.com for the original Saints Row 1, I spotted something that I'd never quite seen before that had me in awe the moment I saw it. A total conversion mod for the original Saints Row 1 that was developed as a zombie survival title, no less, as an expansion pack of sorts. Huh, very familiar. Almost like an Undead Nightmare expansion for the original Saints Row. Hell yeah, count me in. So today, I wanted to check out this mod in its brief demo and not only see what it has to offer, but also gaze at how far modding has come in the Saints Row community these days. So without further ado, let's dive back into the survival horror with Saints Row Deadly Escapade. Saints Row Deadly Escapade is a zombie survival expansion pack for the original Saints Row and is developed by the modder GIF using the Fantasy Row SDK that was made specifically for these games. From here, according to the mods forum page, we play as Ricky Junkyard, an ex-crook who is responsible for organizing a bunch of illegal gambling rooms across Stillwater. But after being arrested by an undercover cop, he winds up here in a jail cell, which is where we end up starting the game. And right off the bat, the zombie apocalypse has erupted around us, and we as Ricky have to fight our way out of the police station and back to the surface. But you'll notice after picking up our first weapon and fighting our first zombie, Ricky must have forgotten to have his Wheaties this morning or something, because he can barely take 2 hits from each zombie before he goes down. At first, I was thinking something was wrong with the game or off, or I had to find like a health upgrade or something like that. But according to GIF over on the mods forum page, when asked about the difficulty by another user who also pointed this out, they noted that it was an intentional design decision. From the start of production of the mod, the developer wanted to emulate the difficulty of something along the lines of Demon Souls. And now I somewhat get it. You have to really plan your hits accordingly here, and taking on a group of Zeds with only a melee weapon can really be a death sentence if you aren't careful. To be fair though, Saints Row 1's melee combat was never really that great to begin with, so getting the combat down will definitely take some trial and error.
You want me? Well, here I am!
So you have to be fully aware of your surroundings throughout the mod, so that way you don't get cornered or caught off guard by a group of zombies, because they can pretty much take you out in only 2 hits. It kind of reminded me of COD Zombies, where in the earlier iterations, you could only take 2 hits from the start. But here, there's no health regeneration whatsoever. So finding food is not only essential for your survival, but to also keep your HP up. And thankfully, food can be dropped by zombies or even scavenged in the world. I personally feel like giving players at least 3 hits before they go down would be a little bit better, or through something like a health upgrade. It could balance things out. But so far, it's really difficult coming up across a zombie in this mod, so you definitely got to be careful when playing this. Or if you want, you can always do the classic survival horror strategy of just running past them, but this could leave you open to being pursued by a huge group. So you definitely want to take this game's combat a bit slower. But once you get your bearings with the combat and we fight our way out of the jail cells and up into the offices of the police headquarters, we can go ahead and explore around the police station and find a bit of loot, or maybe even a survivor that's hiding out as well, like I did. However, I'm pretty sure I ended up leaving this survivor behind due to their pathing getting messed up and getting blocked by some zombies, but oh well. I ended up heading through some double doors that led me out of this section of the police station. And this is actually where the first mission ends, and from here, we head into the next area of the police station, into what looks like a fucking refinery set up here in the department. Who would have thought a steel mill would be in the back offices of Stillwater PD? Not me. But from here, we end up coming across what feels like a psychopath boss from the Dead Rising series, with a lone cop fighting against us with an M4, while all we have is a crowbar and some bottles located in the area that we can fill with fucking lava to throw at the boss. I found this part to be hilarious because, I mean, come on, it's fucking lava, dude. Like, how does that not melt in our hands when we try to throw it? Anyways, though, it's still pretty metal, so I gotta give the game that. But after multiple attempts at fighting this boss and failing to dodge his flurry of bullets, I finally burn him down after a few attempts with 3 Molotovs, and the psycho roasts away while we make our way out of the police station for good. And from here is essentially where the story demo pretty much ends, at least in its current state. It's a nice brief showcase of what is possible with this mod, giving us a short linear section throughout the police station, and then capping things off with a pretty interesting boss battle. And I honestly can't wait to see how the rest of Ricky's escapades works out in future missions once they're released, because from the sounds of it, we might get as far as figuring out what causes this outbreak in the first place. A classic Resident Evil style storyline, and I'm all for it. But from the sounds of it, the story mode is going to play out like a pretty linear video game, with a campaign spanning across multiple levels, with the open world nature of Saints Row left to the survival mode that comes with the mod as well and unlocks after you complete the short story demo. But once you beat the demo, you'll spawn back at your safe house with a few markers that you can walk into that allow you to buy some food items or some new weapons with the money that we scavenge from the police station, and take these items out with us into survival mode. Survival mode features a more non-linear, more open-ended experience where you get to explore a small section of the city with nothing but the weapons on your back and your wits to stay away from danger. While we're out here, we can scavenge nearby stores for medical supplies, ammo, or money, and we can also participate in some small side quests that help us net some more reputation around these parts. The rep system kind of works similarly to the respec system in the original game, except now this affects how survivors will react to you when you end up running into them. Most survivors you come across will need to be rescued by recruiting them and bringing them back to your safe house, but if you have a low reputation, they may end up refusing to join your party or may even try to attack you on sight. But not only do you have your reputation to worry about, you also have to stay aware of your immunity meter as well. Your immunity meter gradually decreases the longer you're out here in survival mode. But helping more survivors and even looting can help you net some medicine, which will boost your immunity and keep you out in the play area longer. I actually really like how this works, given how you have like smaller play spaces to run around in for survival. Because if you had the entirety of Stillwater to run around in, you could easily get lost or turned around. And it allows the quest system to be a bit more fleshed out in each area. And with these smaller spaces, it could give the dev the opportunity, if at all possible with the SDK, to really flesh out each area with debris littered around the streets, and hell, maybe some opportunities for some environmental storytelling. So far from what's on offer with this mod, it's an impressive view of what is capable within the Saints Row games and their modding capabilities. I gotta give it to Jif on this one. This is seriously impressive stuff because I would have never expected to see a total conversion done for the original Saints Row, given that it's been essentially locked to console. But thanks to the Fantasy Row SDK and the ability to inject these mods via emulation, who knows what else is possible for these games. But this mod is an example of what could be done with those possibilities, and it makes me really optimistic for the future of modding for Saints Row 1 and 2. So thank you, Jif. I hope you finish this mod and release it because so far, you are doing some incredible work here. And like I mentioned before, this is all done using the original Xbox 360 version of the game. So if you wanted to check this one out, I'll leave a link down in the description on how you can pick this one up and check it out for yourself. And if you want to leave feedback on the mod or need help installing anything, hit up the CobraWorks Discord, which I'll leave a link for down below as well. This does require an Xbox 360 emulator like Xenia, and of course, a legit copy of Saints Row 1. And once you download the files, you just have to add these to your Unpacked Games files in its folder, and then load up the deadly escapade.zex file while in Xenia, and voila, you're in. But please don't ask me in the comments for where you can get a copy of Saints Row 1 or anything like that. Like, come on.
It ain't happening, honey.
All in all though, like I mentioned before, this mod makes me so excited to see what the future of Saints Row modding will be like, and I hope more devs poke around with these games and start making more stuff for them. Because even though Saints Row in general has become such a niche series nowadays, the first 2 games had so much modding potential to them, and I feel like we've only scratched the surface of what's possible. But hopefully we see more like this in the future. Anyway, that is all for me today. I wanted to take a short look at this mod because it impressed me quite a bit once I checked it out. And judging by my previous Saints Row mod video, it seems like a good amount of you might be into this type of stuff as well. So I hope this one at least intrigued you, at least a bit. But that's all from me. I gotta get this other big GTA mod project video finished that I'm working on, so that way you could all see some other interesting stuff I've come across. But until then, like, subscribe, comment, all those things that the algorithm likes, and maybe join the BladeOpotato Spud Nation Discord as well if you want to be a bit closer in the community. I'm going to try to get some game nights going in the future with some of these mods that I've covered in the past. But yeah, otherwise, I will see you all in a future video. I hope you all have a fantastic day, or at least a better one tomorrow. Blado out.